Sometimes you buy yarn that comes like this, a skein. Other times you will buy yarn that comes pre-wound in a ball. If it comes in a skein, you have to wind it yourself. If you use it as a skein, it will become tangled, and that is why you have to wind it into its own ball. Now, pre-wound balls, they tend to jump around everywhere when you begin to use them, which is why you might have a yarn bowl to keep it in one spot. However, if you wind it in this coconut fashion, it won't jump around when you use it. Here is a clip with the coconut ball. As you can see, the ball isn't moving at all. It's staying in one spot, even as I pull a lot of yarn away. Now here is a clip with a pre-wound factory ball. As you can see, even if I pull it, it starts to go everywhere. And that's why we have the yarn bowls to keep it in place. In this tutorial, I will show you how I hand wind my balls of yarn to make balls that don't jump around everywhere when you begin to use them. I will show you 3 methods to wind your ball, 2 of which you don't need to purchase any additional equipment like a ball winder or these umbrella things called a swift, which can be quite expensive. I've seen swifts for $30 to $50 and ball winders for $20 to $50. So if you buy the 2, you're looking around $50 to $100. And honestly, if you're on a budget, it really isn't necessary. You can make do without it, and I will show you how to make the best non-jumping coconut yarn ball for free. So first we have to unwind our skein, and each skein takes me about 30 minutes to fully wind into a ball. So for the skein, when you get it, usually it'll look like this. It'll have your label on it. So first you want to take off the label. You can't unwind it like this. As you can see, it's very tight. What you have to do is undo the knot. So if you take the top part where the label was, you'll find that there's a knot there that is slightly tied. Undo that and then gently open it up so it'll pull apart. Now at the end here you have this part. You want to pull it on your hands like this and pull it. It's between my 2 hands and I'm just pulling it tight. At this point you want to shift it, so you want to pull it. What that's going to do is it's going to align the threads, the strands of thread, so that they don't become tangled. Just give it a tug like this, and it's strong, it's not going to come undone. Now as you can see right there, we have our yarn that's tied. So what you want to do is wrap it around the thing that you're going to wrap it around with, whether it be 2 hands, a swift. In this method, I'm going to show you my methods, which is the chair method, the leg method, and the swift method. So you want to wrap it around whatever it is you're going to wrap it around first before you untie this. So we are ready now to wrap it around something. So now that's wrapped around my swift, or whatever it is that I'm wrapping it around, I will have these ends that are tied together. So I'm gently going to untie them. And when it's loose, it'll be like this. One is one end and one is the other end of the skein. So I'm just going to take one of the ends and I'm going to pull it. And whichever end is easier to pull, that's the one I'm going to use. Now, usually one end is on the inside of the skein, as you can see, and usually the other end is on the outside of the skein. Or you might have an end that is tangled within the inside of this whole skein, at which point you want to get the easiest one. So in this case, I'm going to be using this end here, the one that is on the other side. So I like my ends to be on the outside. So you want to flip your skein over so that this end faces the outside here, not the inside. So flip everything over so that it matches. And then you'll be able to see where we are. So once everything is good, the yarn should now easily be able to unravel itself. Now, just a tip, if you do end up finding a spot where the yarn is tangled, always stop and unravel it first, because you don't want to get the yarn tangled. At this stage, the yarn is very delicate, meaning that it can tangle very easily, so you want to keep yourself organized. Now when your skein is ready to wind, let's begin. Now these methods, you can do it by yourself. You don't need another person to hold it. Method 1, probably my least favorite method of the 3, but still functional, is the chair method. After you open your skein, you want to put it along 2 chair arms and then begin to wind. The problem with this is that every so often the skein slips off the arms, especially towards the end. Also usually, I got lucky with this orange yarn, but usually you have to keep unraveling the yarn round by round yourself to wind with so that the skein doesn't slip off the chair. Basically, there's a lot more steps involved and it's just more cumbersome. Method 2. To me, this is the best free one. You wrap the skein around your legs. So turn on a TV show, prop yourself onto your couch with your legs spread, put the skein around your legs, and then begin to wind. What I like about this method is that it's most comfortable. Usually all you have to do is keep winding and the skein will unravel with you. In this case with the orange yarn, half of it went automatically and the other half I had to manually unravel around the side. But still, by the time your favorite sitcom episode is over, you will have a brand new ball of yarn. Method 3. I bought a Swift. Now, initially I thought that the Swift would allow me to keep winding and it will turn automatically without me having to manually unravel each round of yarn. However, that wasn't the case. Though the Swift is smooth to turn, it does glide with some friction, meaning that when you wind without pulling the yarn to unravel some length to use, the friction will make the yarn on your thumb tight and create a really tight ball, which I don't like. So I quickly realized that and I had to manually length by length unravel it to loosen the yarn for me to wind. I found that sitting in one spot just added the extra motion of pulling the yarn every couple of feet, which got annoying for a full skein. So what I'd rather do is place the skein on one end of a room and pull the yarn across to the other end and then work back winding my ball. That gave me lots of length without having to pull the yarn every couple of winds. I like the skein because of all three methods. This one won't tangle your yarn as you would wind. With the other two, you have a greater chance of getting some of your yarn tangled. So those are my 3 methods on how to hand wind your skein. Now I will show you how to make your ball. So let's begin winding. To begin winding, you want to take your yarn and hold it in your palm like this. Take your thumb, take the yarn, wrap it around your thumb. You want to wrap it on an angle. Now at the beginning it'll slide down, but if you keep persisting it'll eventually form itself. And after about 4 or 5 winds, you want to turn it. So turn it slightly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn it slightly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn it slightly. 1, 2, 3, 4, turn it slightly. 1, 2, 3, 4, turn it slightly. Now what you're looking for to get a nice clean wind is you want to take your yarn and wind it and put it in the center there. And then wind down. Okay? So you don't want to keep winding on the same spot, you want to move it down. So put it in the center, and you see that spot right here, space that it creates? You want to fill that up. So wind it and fill it up, like that. And then turn, put it in the center. You have that space, so you want to fill it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, turn it slightly. You have a space, fill it up. You have a space, fill it up. Now for your tension, you want to keep the yarn loose. So when I hold it, I'm just holding it so it stays in place. But as you can see there, I'm not gripping it, I'm not pulling it tight. You don't want to tighten the yarn like this when you pull it. That's going to create a very tight ball. You want to keep it loose so that the yarn, when you begin to use your ball of yarn, falls off the ball smoothly and easily. So I'm holding it loose, the space in between there, I'm holding it loose just to guide the yarn around. I'm applying no tension and no friction at all when I'm winding the ball. Now as it starts to grow in size, you'll notice that it begins to elongate, and that's perfectly fine. Just keep doing as you're doing. Now for the tail, I'm holding it in my hand. You can also, if it starts to become annoying, stick it inside, so you can take your thumb out at any time. It's firm, so you can put it on pause if you need to and just stuff the tail inside there for the time being if you feel like that's what you need to do. So here we have finished our ball. Once you're done, you can take your thumb out and we can take the excess yarn and just wrap it around. Now you notice that this ball is actually quite firm. Even though we wound it loosely, it's quite firm. You can squish it, you can push it, and it's not going to get undone. So that's how I wind my yarn ball. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Check out my other videos on my channel and subscribe for more videos.